What's this? Oh, I saw this. Henry Cavill says he's not a fan of sex scenes in film and television and believes that they're mostly a bit of a cop-out. Fucking true. Absolutely true.
It's when you have a sense that you're going, is this really necessary? Or is it people just with less clothing on?
Right.
Yeah. And that's where you start to get more uncomfortable and you're thinking, there's not a performance here. TV show or a movie is just filled with sort of gyrating bodies and you're going, okay,
Right.
But I mean, what is this doing for us apart from the idea of like, oh, naked person, great.
Yeah.
There are Hollywood mysteries, and then there's what happened behind the scenes of The Witcher Season 3. For years, fans had suspicions. They noticed the awkward writing choices. They noticed the tone shift. They noticed how Geralt felt different. Not because Henry Cavill changed, but because the writers around him did. But the truth was always just out of reach. Rumors drifted through Reddit threads. Anonymous crew members hinted at production issues. Leaks claimed the writers disliked the books, but nothing was confirmed. Until now, Henry Cavill has finally begun lifting the curtain on what really happened behind closed doors. And what he reveals explains everything. Why the tone shifted. Why the writing fell apart. Why iconic storylines were rewritten. Why he ultimately walked away. This video dives into Henry's comments, insider reports, cast interviews, and leaked production notes to paint the full picture. The Witcher Season 3 wasn't just a tough production. It was a battlefield between Cavill and the writers who refused to respect the source material.
Were you familiar with this, the Watcher before you, The Witcher?
The Witcher,
before you started?
I hadn't seen the TV show, and I hadn't read the book.
And it was not even a year ago where Henry very publicly said that he is committed to doing the planned 7 seasons of the Netflix Witcher on one condition. That condition being that the writers can manage to tell great stories while honoring the source material this show is apparently meant to be based on. Now,
Oh, okay. Well, that actually does fucking indicate something, doesn't it? Let's read this again. Absolutely, he says, and this is a quote, as long as we can keep telling great stories which honor Sapkowski's work. So I wonder what the odds are that a Netflix series isn't going to honor the original content of which the series is built off.
I'm the most annoying guy on set because I'm saying, excuse me, you do realize that this should be happening and they wouldn't do that, and you haven't read this, that means this would be impossible. And everyone's just going, Henry, just shut up and do the thing. And I'm like, I don't want to do the thing because he wouldn't do it this way, and he can do this.
Long before Season 3 even began filming, cracks had already formed. Henry Cavill entered Season 2 with high hopes. He'd pushed for more book accuracy. He'd asked for Geralt to be written closer to Sapkowski's characterization. Silent, burdened, dryly humorous, honorable, and emotionally layered. But according to multiple insiders, his suggestions were met with resistance. The writers had a completely different vision, one that pushed Geralt to the sidelines, rewrote lore, and heavily altered existing character arcs. One anonymous writer later admitted in an interview, some writers in the room actively disliked the books. And that wasn't an exaggeration. Crew members confirmed that lore, timelines, and established characters were frequently mocked in the writer's room, seen as restrictive instead of foundational. Cavill, who deeply respected the material, saw this as a red flag. Once shooting for Season 3 began, the tension reportedly escalated dramatically. Multiple crew members described Cavill as the only person in the building who cared about the books. He frequently requested rewrites to make scenes more faithful. He corrected dialogue he believed Geralt would never say. He criticized unnecessary deviations from the novels. He refused to act out scenes that fundamentally contradicted the character. But here's the problem. The writers didn't want a faithful adaptation. They wanted to transform The Witcher into their own creation. And to them, Cavill wasn't a passionate actor. He was an obstacle, one insider put it plainly. Henry was fighting solo against a room full of people rewriting the entire franchise as they pleased. Perhaps the biggest point of conflict was the Season 3 scripts. When Cavill received early drafts, he reportedly pushed back hard. He questioned character motivations that didn't make sense. He challenged scenes where Geralt's personality felt off. He requested multiple rewrites for lore accuracy. He defended specific book moments the writers tried to remove. The writers, meanwhile, wanted more jokes, more Marvel-style quips, more fast-paced banter, more flashy plot lines that weren't in the books. This clash created friction so strong that even cast members noticed. In one interview, Anya Chalotra, Yennefer, subtly hinted at creative differences on set. Another cast member anonymously said, "Henry fought for the story, others fought for the algorithm." That line spread like wildfire because it explained everything. By season 3, fans began noticing something was wrong. Geralt felt different. Not in Cavill's performance, which remained excellent, but in the way he was written. Gone was the stoic warrior. Gone was the thoughtful monster hunter. Gone was the emotionally subtle character Sapkowski created. Instead, Geralt felt underused. Side characters dominated the story. Lore-heavy scenes were replaced with invented drama. Entire arcs were altered or removed, and Cavill wasn't happy. In a behind-the-scenes clip, Cavill stated, "I've always pushed for Geralt to stay true to the books." Fans understood the hidden meaning. He had to fight for it because the writers weren't doing it. Several insiders say there was one moment, one confrontation, that broke Henry Cavill's patience completely. A major rewrite to Geralt's storyline. A rewrite Cavill reportedly told the writers violates the core of the character. A rewrite so fundamentally disconnected from the novels that Cavill refused to perform it as written. The writers, frustrated by his insistence on authenticity, allegedly rewrote the scene again, still not loyal to the books, but now intentionally ignoring Cavill's notes. When Henry saw the new script, he realized something. They weren't listening. They were never going to listen. They didn't care about the source material. They didn't care about Geralt. And they didn't care about the fans. That was the moment he decided to walk away. When Henry Cavill officially announced he was leaving after season 3, fans were devastated, but not surprised. His message was short, polite, and professional. But under the surface, fans noticed something chilling. Cavill wrote, "With my deepest respect for Geralt, I pass the torch. I hope the new interpretation does justice." But it was this line that set off alarm bells. "I will be watching as a fan." Fans instantly understood the subtext. He wasn't part of the creative vision anymore. The writers had pushed him out. He was done fighting. The White Wolf had left the building. After Cavill's departure, season 3 became even more chaotic. Morale reportedly collapsed. Crew members felt the energy was gone. The cast continued doing their best, but the heart of the series, Cavill, was missing. One stunt coordinator revealed. With Henry, every fight scene had purpose. Without him, it was just choreography. Even Liam Hemsworth, who would become the new Geralt, seemed uncomfortable stepping into the role. The production felt hollow, as if everyone knew the series was headed toward a cliff. When the news went public, the backlash was immediate. Millions of fans turned against Netflix. YouTube exploded with essays calling season 3 the end. Petitions demanding Cavill's return hit record numbers. Twitter trended with hashtags like #WitcherUsOver and #BringBackCavill. Fans didn't blame Henry, they blamed the writers, the showrunners, the creative team who pushed him away. And when the season 4 trailer finally dropped, everything Cavill warned about became painfully visible. The tone was off. The dialogue felt wrong. Geralt didn't look or feel like Geralt. And the backlash drowned the trailer within hours. Just when fans thought the embarrassment couldn't get any worse, South Park entered the chat. Their parody of The Witcher writers, mocking them as clueless creatives who ignore the books, became one of the most brutally accurate takedowns in satire history, and fans loved it. It was the cultural moment everyone had been waiting for. The parody didn't exaggerate, it exposed. And Henry Cavill's reaction? A smirk, a laugh. A subtle, devastating confirmation that the parody was accurate. Season 3's behind-the-scenes chaos suddenly made perfect sense to everyone. Now that he is no longer under contractual silence, Cavill has begun revealing more. At conventions and interviews and through subtle comments, he has hinted that Season 3 broke his faith in the project. He mentioned creative disagreements. He mentioned respect for the source material. He mentioned fighting for Geralt's authenticity. He mentioned not being aligned with the writers. And then the most telling line of all. When you love the characters deeply, you have to stand up for them. Fans understood that as a confession. Season 3 wasn't just creatively frustrating, it was emotionally exhausting. Putting together all the insider leaks, cast comments, production notes, and Cavill's own words, the truth is clear. Henry Cavill fought for accuracy. The writers fought against it. Cavill pushed for the books. The writers pushed for original subplots. Cavill wanted depth. The writers wanted spectacle. Cavill wanted Geralt to be Geralt. The writers wanted Geralt to be someone else. The conflict was inevitable. Season 3 wasn't just the end of Cavill's time on the show, it was the end of The Witcher as the world knew it. With Cavill gone, the franchise is on shaky ground. Season 4's reception is already predicted to be catastrophic. Fans have lost faith in the writing team. South Park's mockery cemented the show as a cultural joke. And Cavill's new projects, especially Warhammer 40K, are overshadowing everything the Witcher creators hope to build. The truth is simple. Cavill didn't lose The Witcher. The Witcher lost Cavill. And the series may never recover. Henry Cavill didn't leave The Witcher because he wanted to. He left because he had to. Because the writers refused to honor the books. Because they refused to listen to fans. Because they refused to respect the world they were adapting. Because they refused to let Geralt be Geralt. Season 3 wasn't just difficult. It was a warning sign. A sign the writers ignored. A sign Henry saw first. Now, the truth is out. And the fans finally understand what really happened behind the scenes. And why The Witcher was doomed the moment its greatest defender walked away.